Hello, this is Eric from Exceptional Chess at Any Level. I'm going to be going over castling, which most players are aware of, but some players aren't. And then I'm also going to talk about the rules of castling, when castling's illegal or legal. So first, I'm going to go over the basics of castling. The king has not moved, and the rook have not moved already. They're on their original squares. That's necessary to castling, and it's also necessary that there's no pieces in between. And then the king moves two squares over, and then the rook goes to the other side of the king. So black could do the same thing. There's no pieces in between. The king and the rook have not moved, and that's so the king goes two squares over and castling kingside. And then there's also queenside castling, which is very similar to kingside castling, except there's three squares in between, which could confuse players of where the king and the rook wind up. But the same principle applies where the king moves two squares over and then the rook goes over the top of the king to the other side. And then the same can go with black. King goes two squares over and the rook comes across. So that's the basic idea behind kingside and queenside castling. And there's also a few key rules about uh, castling in terms of legal moves. For instance, if, say, the bishop goes to b4 to deliver check, say he delivers check, the king would probably find it quite advantageous. He'd want a castle here, but because he's in check, it's no longer a legal move to castle out of check. So um, so he'd have to do something else, and then he could proceed when he's out of when he's not. There's no check involved. Then he can proceed to castling and blocking castle. There's also a few other rules about castling. For instance, if the bishop is slicing through the position and eyeing this square that the king wants to pass through to castle, then castling is no longer legal because the king would be passing through a square that was protected. So castling would not be legal because the king can't move through that that square that's defended. So yeah, it would be illegal to castle there. Um, Another rule that's should be mentioned is the king cannot castle itself into check. Like, here the king has not moved, the rook has not moved. There's no pieces in between, but the bishop is eyeing the square that the king would wind up on. So it's not a legal move for the king to castle itself into check. It's not illegal. It's an illegal move. So um, uh, on the computer, it wouldn't allow you to do that. And then in a real game, you're not allowed across the board. You're not allowed to castle yourself into check. So those are just that just covers basic king side, queen side castling, and some of the rules about legal castling and illegal castling. So that's about it. I'll hope to see you in the next video.